Hi there, my name is Glenn Berklev from Glihago Coaching. One of the challenges that leaders struggle the most with is communication. Trust me, I know. From having over 20 years of leadership experience, I have seen leaders that are otherwise super confident completely break down in front of an audience or when they have to give a presentation for senior leaders. The one thing that you should be teaching yourself first, and a skill that you need to develop as a leader, is communication. But why is that? One of the things that highly successful leaders have in common is that they can communicate effortlessly. There are many different parts of communication that is important. Just think about it for a second. Clarity of vision and direction. Where's your team going, and how does that relate to the organization that you're all working in? How you build trust and rapport with your team. How you treat them. What words you use when you try and encourage them to perform better. When you need to manage a difficult conversation. All of that is part of trust building as well and comes down to communication. When you motivate and engage team members. We all probably experience annual pulse surveys or engagement surveys or whatever you call them, where team members evaluate your leadership style. And a lot of the time, motivation and engagement is a direct link between how you communicate as a leader and how they feel about working in your team, for you, and in your organization. When you as a leader have to facilitate collaboration and teamwork, also depends on how well you communicate. We touched on it already, handling a difficult conversation, how you manage conflict between team members. How do you coach and get to the point clearly, and how do you challenge your team members to become a better version of themselves without forcing their arm? This comes down to how constructive you provide feedback and how constructive you are in your actual coaching. And lastly, it's also about how do you influence your peers? How do you communicate upwards and sideways in the organization you work in? Again, a key topic that comes up again and again when I have my mentorship sessions with leaders across our organization. So, if communication is really that important, why are so many leaders failing in this particular skill? My belief is, while there's a lot of great intentions and people want to be better, they simply don't do enough to practice the skill. And that is why I have worked on a 30-day communication leadership challenge. Over the past 20 years where I've worked in leadership, it almost seems like a standing joke. Communication comes up in every single workshop, every single training and e-learning program that comes out for new leaders, onboarding new leaders, and in ongoing leadership training. So why is it that when everybody talks about it, this is the exact topic that most leaders fail in? Again, we can have endless e-learning programs, but what I've noticed is the biggest difference between someone who actually gets better at communicating and someone who wants to communicate better is the effort they put into simple practice and activating those skills that they learn. If you go to a training course and you spend hours on end learning about leadership, communication's importance in leadership, and what it takes to be a great communicator, you might have seen great TED Talks as well, and you admire how effortlessly those individuals seem to speak about their topic. What you forget is the hours of practice that goes before it. And that is why this 30-day challenge is so important. One of my favorite suggestions that I give to leaders in my team is record yourself. And it's as simple as that. And that is why the 30-day challenge is here for you. It is a 30-day challenge that asks you to record 1 minute of video of yourself every single day, of a different topic, and focusing on the different elements of communication and how you make your communication impactful. We're going to talk about body language, stance, eye contact, learning how to speak to a camera. You're probably noticing that I'm looking straight at you. A lot of leaders and individuals, they get scared about talking to a camera, but it's just as scary to talk to other individuals. So this is a great way to practice. My 30-day challenge is broken into 4 different weeks. The first week, we're focusing on your foundation and delivery in leadership communication. The second week, we're diving into all of the non-verbal communication cues that you use. In week 3, we're diving even deeper, and that's about the unscripted communication in leadership. Trust me, I've seen a lot of people delivering a presentation where, yes, they sound like a robot, they're reading from a script, you can see it, you can feel it, it gets a little bit uncomfortable as the audience, but hey, we are all starting somewhere, so don't worry about it. I will teach you how to go through unscripted communication and leadership as well. In week 4, we're tying it all together with the engaging and storytelling in leadership communication. So if you're actually interested in leveling up your communication, sign up for this 30-day challenge. You can go in the link below, go to the website, sign up for the 30-day challenge. You will immediately receive the 30-day package, and there will be a video for every single day that will help guide you and teach you how to go through that particular exercise. And the goal for you is that you record yourself during that day 1 and that you post it. The reason why you should post your video is because if you only keep it to yourself, there's going to be less importance on the aspect of you wanting to do well. If you know that others are watching you, you'll pay more attention to your subtle cues. But just remember, the goal of this exercise is that after day 1, you'll very likely be shaky. It will very likely be uncomfortable. And you will look back at that video and say, that's not great, but that's okay. Remember, the best speakers in the world started at the exact same place, being very uncomfortable in front of a camera, and then they practiced to get better, myself included. At the end of the 30 days, if you follow it day by day and you record a video of yourself every day, following this advice and going through the techniques and actively practicing it, I can guarantee you, you will see a visible difference after 30 days. And after 30 days, you should compare video 30 with video 1 and see just how far you've come. If you go through this 30-day challenge, you will already have done vastly more than most of the people who go around talking about wanting to become better at communicating. They all have intentions, but what's going to get us there is action. So, are you with me on the 30-day challenge? As I mentioned, sign up below and start your 30-day challenge today.